Superman number 14, written by Scott Lobdell, art by Kenneth Rockefort. This is the next part of Hell on Earth, following up after Superboy and then Supergirl, number 14 of each. And this issue picks up with Lois coming to Clark Kent's store, saying like, hey, Clark, I know you're in there. Can we talk? Like, you stormed out of the office last issue. Which, again, last issue was the whole thing with the Kryptonian dragon thing showing up. Anyway, Clark goes over, he opens up the door, and lets Lois in. The entire place is a wreck because Jimmy, for whatever reason, is still living in Clark's apartment. And she's like, hey, so, Clark, maybe, I don't know, go back and get your job again? Like, tell him, oopsie, I made a mistake, and make your way back in there. And he's like, oh yeah? Why should I? I was standing up for truth, justice, and the American way. Like, I'm not gonna go out there and peddle some crappy entertainment stuff. I'm here for news. And Lois is like, dude, why are you so pissed off about this? Like, we're friends. I'm trying to help you. And he's like, oh, friends, huh? Well, maybe a good friend would tell me that you're moving in with your boyfriend of just a few weeks. And Lois is like, oh, okay, we're going there. First off, I don't even know how you knew that. And Superman's like, yeah, I don't really have a good explanation as to how I know that either. But she's like, either way, we're still friends. But we are literally friends. I want you to understand that part, Clark, that we are not anything more than that. And she's then points out like, oh, and don't even get me started on significant others. I've seen the way you've been acting. You've clearly got a girl in your life. And he's like, what do you mean, Wonder Woman? I never said nothing about what do you mean? So then, as they're arguing, in through the door, as we saw at the end of Supergirl, comes Supergirl, and she just shows up, says, oh, Clark, I've been wanting to talk to you. Do you have a minute? And Lois is like, You're getting your, is this a news thing? Is she a cosplayer? And Clark's like, yes, she is a cosplayer. I am running the news for the cosplay circuit, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Get out of my apartment, Lois. Goodbye. And shoves her out the door, bringing Kara inside. And immediately Superman's just like, shut up, and don't even talk. And he grabs her, and like in half a second they make their way downtown, and he's now in Superman gear. And he's just like, why are you trying to ruin my life? And she's like, it's just your secret identity. Who even cares? And it's like, I care deep. It's my life, Kara. What are you doing? Also, are you speaking English now? And she's like, yeah, that happened in my issue. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I met a guy who says that he can save Krypton. And Kal-El's like, Kara, Krypton is gone. We've talked about this. And it's like, yeah, but this guy says that he can go back and fix it. And she's literally pointing to him, and it's Hell just hovering over top and be like, hey, here I'm just going to go ahead and exposit about myself. I have more powers than you have. I can make things right. I was a scientist that worked with your father, and he took me in as if I was his own son. So I kind of feel like we're brothers, you and me, Kal-El. And Clark's like, okay, you're like the third person who has said that they're a long-lost Kryptonian, so I'm going to need a little bit more than that. And he's like, yeah, no problem. So your dad sent me off into space in what was essentially the prototype to your rocket. And I got too close to some crazy-ass stars, and those stars gave me way different powers than you have. But, like, I'm a lot more powerful, and now I've shown up here. And Clark's literally not even paying attention to Hell. He's turned away from him, turned back to Kara, be like, this guy's crazy. This guy's absolutely insane. And you're just listening to him? This is stupid. And Kara's like, okay, can you just let me have this? Can you please just hear him out? Because, like, if he can save Krypton, shouldn't we at least listen to him? And Hell, out of nowhere, just pulls out Superboy by the neck. And he's like, hey, as a show of how devoted to Krypton I am, I'm going to kill this Kryptonian clone. Because clones are really bad on Krypton. So I'm just going to snap his neck right now. And Clark is like, why do you think I would want that? No, please don't. And we cut over to this teenage girl who's getting a car with her dad. And they're just about to get the keys. And all of a sudden, Hell and Superboy just go crashing into one of the cars. because Superman just threw them halfway across the thing. And Kara's like, did you just put human lives in danger? And he's like, no, they landed exactly where I wanted them to, on top of the exploding cars. Now, would you please keep an eye on Superboy while I take care of Hell? And she's like, fine, I'll make sure that nothing happens to him until you get back. He's like, no, nothing happens to him ever, Kara. For God's sakes, man. So she's protecting Superboy as Superman goes off and attacks Hell. And Hell's like, I came to you because Supergirl wanted me to, but I literally could kill you in an instant. And he's like, yeah, well, we'll see about that. He's like, you literally couldn't even take down the dragon that I sent, or at least you barely did. I'm way more powerful than you, man. I'm only keeping you alive out of respect for your father. And an explosion happens, and Supergirl's like, oh no, Clark, what's happened? And we see Clark come out of it being like, Kara, this is all your fault. You have disrespected me and my family. How dare you? And I will end your life if you step out of my way again. Do you understand that? You better listen to me from now on. And he just keeps threatening her. And turns out that's one of Hell's powers, where he makes her think that he was actually Clark. So now he's got them arguing with each other she's passed out, but she will be arguing with him. And then Hell just immediately lays a smackdown on Superman, being like, okay, I am not going to kill you right now, but I just want you to know, I totally could if you get in my way. So just please don't. And at this point, Superboy finally comes to, and he's got Hell in like a grapple. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but it stops now. And Hell's like, yeah, okay, kid, whatever. Throws Superboy away and starts like tearing him apart from the atomic level. And he's like, okay, here's the weird thing. You're not actually a clone. Now that I've looked a bit deeper into you, you're actually like half human, half Kryptonian, which is way worse in my eyes. But yeah, Superman here doesn't want you dead. So here's the thing. I am going to let you both live so long as you don't stop me from restoring Krypton to its former glory. Okay? I'm going to go do that. Bye. And then he leaves. And then, issue ends. It was good. It was just like exposition fight scene issue. There wasn't really much else to that. I kind of liked the Supergirl stuff at the start, but even then there was like 3-4 pages of Lois Lane. It was all right. It wasn't... I think that the last issue of Supergirl was a better part of Hell on Earth, but this is okay, I guess. And the last issue of Superman had Hell literally floating over top of them, and that just never got resolved. So, yeah, whatever. Overall, I'm going to give this one... I'll give it a 7 in that I do think art-wise and storytelling-wise it is doing a good job of setting up all these different lines, but it is still just not the best part of it so far. So we'll see if they can increase it. I think Superboy's up next again. We'll see.